Have you ever looked back at your relationship history and noticed a pattern? Maybe every person you've fallen hardest for had the same quality, a certain distance, a certain independence, a certain just out of reach quality that made you want to close the gap. Maybe you've been in relationships with people who were warm one week and unreachable the next, who pulled you in and then pulled away, who made you feel electric when they finally gave you attention and devastating when they didn't. And maybe at some point you asked yourself the question that nobody wants to answer honestly. Why do I keep choosing this? Not, why does this keep happening to me, but why do I keep choosing it? Because if you have an anxious attachment style, and many of you watching this do, or you wouldn't be deep in a series about avoidant partners, the research is very clear on something uncomfortable. The attraction to avoidant partners is not random. It is not bad luck. It is not a coincidence. It is a pattern written into your nervous system, a pattern with a neurological basis, a pattern that research published in 2024 and 2025 has begun to map with remarkable precision. Today, I'm going to explain exactly why this attraction happens, from the biochemistry to the childhood blueprint, to the specific psychological mechanism that makes an avoidant partner feel more compelling than a secure one. And then, I'm going to tell you what the research says you can actually do about it. Quick note before we go in. This is part 4 of the Avoidant Attachment series. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 3, links are in the description. I'd recommend them in order. This one builds on the neuroscience foundation we laid in part 1. And a word about who this video is for. If you identify as anxiously attached, this is directly for you. You're going to recognize yourself in this. If you're not sure of your attachment style, but you've been in relationships where you felt like you were always chasing, always a little too much, always waiting for the other shoe to drop, this is also for you. And if you're actually the avoidant person watching, please stay. Understanding why your anxious partners are drawn to you and what that dynamic costs both of you is important information. Let's start at the very beginning, in childhood.
Part 1. The Childhood Blueprint, where the pattern starts. The blueprint was written before you could read. To understand why anxiously attached people are drawn to avoidance, you first have to understand what anxious attachment actually is, at its core, before the relationship dynamics, before the behaviors. Anxious attachment develops in childhood when a caregiver was inconsistently available, not absent, not abusive, inconsistent. Sometimes warm, responsive, present, sometimes distracted, unavailable, or emotionally absent. The child could never predict which version they were going to get. And the child's nervous system adapted to that unpredictability in a very specific way. It learned to hyperactivate, to stay on high alert for signs of the caregiver's emotional availability, to amplify distress signals to get attention, to become exquisitely sensitive to any cue of connection or withdrawal. A 2024 neuroimaging study published in BMC Neuroscience confirmed what attachment researchers have long proposed. Anxiously attached individuals show enhanced functional connectivity between the brain regions associated with facial emotional processing and threat detection. In plain language, their brain is literally wired to scan the social environment for signs of emotional availability more intensely than securely attached individuals. Anxious attachment equals a nervous system trained to chase inconsistent warmth. Now here is the critical connection. That childhood experience, chasing the warmth of an inconsistent caregiver, becomes the nervous system's template for what love feels like. Not what love should feel like, what love feels like, what the brain has been trained to recognize as intimacy. And an avoidant partner, warm sometimes, distant others, available and then gone, is an almost perfect replica of that original template. The attraction is not weakness, it is pattern recognition. Your nervous system is saying, this feels familiar. This feels like love.
Part 2. The neurochemistry. Why it feels like addiction. The brain chemistry that keeps you hooked. Now let's talk about the part that explains why this dynamic is so hard to leave, even when you know it's hurting you. The answer lies in a neurological mechanism called intermittent reinforcement, and the research on this is some of the most compelling in all of relationship psychology. Intermittent reinforcement is a reward schedule where the reward is delivered unpredictably. Not every time, not never, randomly. B.F. Skinner's foundational behavioral research established that intermittent reinforcement produces the strongest and most persistent behavior of any reward schedule. The slot machine, not the vending machine, is what creates compulsive behavior. Because the vending machine is predictable, the slot machine keeps you pulling the lever. Now apply this to your relationship. When an avoidant partner is warm, present, and connected, the relief and joy you feel is enormous. Your anxious nervous system has been scanning for that signal. When it finally arrives, the dopamine release is significant. A 2025 review of neurocognitive mechanisms in attachment, synthesizing neuroimaging and biochemical research, confirmed that anxiously attached individuals show dysregulated cortisol responses under relationship stress, combined with heightened dopamine-driven reward sensitivity. When connection arrives after absence, the neurochemical reward is amplified precisely because of the preceding stress. The relief after avoidant withdrawal equals a dopamine spike more powerful than consistent love ever produces. This is why a text from an avoidant partner after 3 days of silence can feel more thrilling than a month of steady affection from a secure partner. It is not because the avoidant is better. It is because your nervous system has been conditioned to respond to scarcity as value. Research on newlywed couples found that anxious avoidant pairings showed sharp spikes in cortisol, the stress hormone, even in anticipation of conflict. Both partners' stress systems were activated before anything had even happened. That is what this pairing costs physiologically. Both people are running stress responses just from the expectation of the dynamic playing out. And yet, the anxious partner keeps returning, because when the warmth comes back, the biochemical relief is powerful enough to reset the cycle. This is not a character flaw. This is a learned neurological response, and knowing that, really knowing it, is the first step to interrupting it. Part 3. The psychological mechanism. Why secure feels boring. Here is the part that I find most important and most underexplored in popular content. Many anxiously attached people, when they encounter a genuinely secure partner, someone consistently kind, available, emotionally present, report feeling flat, uninterested, like something is missing. And then they feel ashamed of that response. What is wrong with me? Someone good is right here and I feel nothing. Nothing is wrong with you. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it was trained to do. A 2025 computational model published in Science Direct, one of the first studies to mathematically simulate the anxious avoidant interaction dynamic using agent-based modeling, confirmed what clinicians have observed for decades. Anxious and avoidant partners create what researchers call an attraction-repulsion dynamic. Research shows anxious and avoidant individuals often end up together, creating this attraction-repulsion dynamic, a continuous pursuer-distancer cycle, with unmet needs on both sides that typically results in lower relationship satisfaction for both partners. But the attraction part of that dynamic is genuine. It is neurologically real. The anxious nervous system is not making a mistake when it finds the avoidant compelling. It is responding accurately to stimuli that match its internal template. The problem is that the template itself was built around emotional unavailability. Here is the clinical way to understand it. Your nervous system learned early on that love and uncertainty come together, that intimacy and anxiety are inseparable, that the people who matter most are the ones who keep you slightly off balance. So when a secure person shows up, calm, consistent, not playing any games, your nervous system doesn't recognize it as intimacy. It recognizes it as low stakes, as not the real thing. If it doesn't feel like anxiety, the anxious nervous system may not register it as love. This is not a permanent condition, but it is the condition you're working with, and pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone. Part 4. The hidden function of the pairing. What each person is unconsciously seeking. What both people are actually looking for. Here is something that most content about anxious avoidant pairings misses entirely, and it changes the moral framing of the whole dynamic. This pairing is not a predator-prey relationship. Both people are seeking something real. Both people are trying to get a need met. They're just using incompatible strategies. The anxiously attached person is seeking proof that closeness is safe. Every act of pursuit is an attempt to finally get the reassurance their nervous system has been seeking since childhood, that they won't be abandoned, that they're enough, that love won't disappear. The avoidantly attached person is seeking connection without engulfment. They want connection. The research is clear that avoidants do desire connection, but their nervous system has learned that closeness costs autonomy and safety, so they approach and retreat, trying to find the level of connection that doesn't trigger the threat response. Neuroimaging research shows avoidantly attached individuals may appraise positive social interactions with less intrinsic reward value and may fail to learn from positive social reinforcers. In other words, the warmth and connection the anxious partner is offering may not even register as rewarding to the avoidance brain in the way it would to a secure person. Two people, both genuinely trying, using strategies that directly activate each other's deepest wounds. The anxious partner's pursuit triggers the avoidance need for space. The avoidance withdrawal triggers the anxious partner's abandonment fear. The pursuit intensifies. The withdrawal deepens. The cycle runs. And both people leave the relationship, if it ends, more wounded than when they entered. Understanding this doesn't make the pattern acceptable, but it makes it comprehensible, and comprehensible problems can be solved. Mysteries cannot.
All right, You understand the blueprint, you understand the neurochemistry, you understand the mechanism. So what do you do with this? The research points toward 3 specific things, not feel-good suggestions, but evidence-based interventions that actually address the root pattern. Step 1. Learn to recognize the difference between attraction and activation. This is a clinical skill. Attraction, genuine compatibility, mutual warmth, shared values, feels different in the body from activation, the familiar hyperarousal of your attachment system being triggered. Activation feels like attraction. The racing heart, the heightened attention, the sense that this person is different, special, irreplaceable. These are also the exact physiological signatures of your stress response being fired. The 2025 Neurocognitive Review confirmed that anxiously attached individuals show heightened amygdala prefrontal connectivity during social threat processing, meaning your brain is more reactive to social cues than a securely attached person's. That reactivity feels like intensity. It is not the same thing. Learning to ask, am I attracted to this person or am I activated by this person, is one of the most powerful questions you can develop. Step 2. Deliberately practice tolerating the discomfort of security. This sounds strange, but it is directly supported by the research on earned secure attachment we discussed in Part 3. When a secure, consistently available person feels boring or too easy, that discomfort is information. It means your nervous system is encountering something it hasn't learned to value yet. The research on security development suggests that staying in that discomfort, not fleeing back toward familiar activation, is how new neural associations form. Give the secure person more time than your nervous system says they deserve. Notice the discomfort, stay anyway. This is how the template begins to rewrite. Step 3. Do the nervous system work, not just the cognitive work. Reading about anxious attachment, understanding the pattern, even doing exactly what you're doing right now, watching videos and building insight, this is cognitive work. It is valuable, but it is not sufficient. The same research on earned secure attachment that we covered in Part 3 applies here. The anxious nervous system needs corrective experiences, not just corrective information. A relationship, therapeutic or romantic, where consistent safety is experienced repeatedly over time is what actually shifts the baseline. Individual therapy with an attachment-informed therapist, somatic work that targets the nervous system directly, these are not optional add-ons. The research identifies them as the primary mechanisms of change. The hardest part, and the most honest thing I can say. I want to end this video with the thing that is hardest to say, but that I think you need to hear. The anxious avoidant attraction is real. The chemistry is real. The love is real. But love, even genuine love, between 2 people whose nervous systems are running incompatible programs is not enough to make the relationship work, not by itself. The research is consistent on this. The continuous pursuer-distancer cycle with unmet needs from both partners usually results in lower relationship satisfaction. The anxious partner consistently feels unloved, the avoidant partner consistently feels overwhelmed, and both leave, if they do leave, more confirmed in their worst fears about relationships than when they started. This is not a reason to never date an avoidant person. It is a reason to be honest about what you are choosing, what it will cost you, and what conditions would need to be present for it to have any chance. The question is not, do I love them? You probably do. The question is, do both of us have the awareness, motivation, and capacity to do what this relationship requires? That question, answered honestly, is worth more than any amount of chemistry. If this video landed for you, if you recognized yourself in the pattern, in the neurochemistry, in the blueprint, I want you to know something. This pattern does not define you. It describes where you are right now, not where you have to stay. The research on earned secure attachment, on people who rewire their nervous system response to love, is genuinely hopeful. People do this, not quickly, not without work, but they do it. The next video in this series is Part 5, and it's the practical one, how to stop attracting avoidant partners. Not the love yourself more generic advice, the specific research-backed steps that address the actual mechanism. Link is right here. I'll see you there.